So, posted a Q&A for today, and here's some answers. Let's go ahead and run through it. We have quite a number of them. I'm going to try to do these a little bit more regular and see what it is you people actually want to talk about. So, see if I can help and not be a total jerk. From Mean Gene River, what's the average amount of time you spend on promoting your brand, social media every day? Your output is amazing and top notch. Thanks. As a producer slash editor, I don't know how you keep up that pace. The only real trick to it is, while you have time, you kind of make a lot of content and stockpile it, and that way you can release it as you need to. I'm going to train every day anyway, so I'll just try to roll camera on that type of footage. Having a good camera and good setup and being able to edit a little bit helps. The Drift to Lift stuff is totally different. That is filmed and edited by my partner in that, Brock Gomez, BGP Productions. And so he handles that, and I have tried to learn and get better stuff to handle the everyday stuff that I do, so that it also kind of matches a little bit of the quality. But it does consume a little bit of every day. Probably an hour, 2 hours tops. I can usually do either first thing in the morning or at night as it works out. Slash LA asks, how much time do you got? And I have some time. So, Danger Cart, what are your favorite forms of dynamic training? The Olympic lifts, sprints, jumping. Those are my favorite. Throwing stuff too. I like throwing med balls. I like throwing Highland Games shit. So throwing, jumping, sprinting, Olympic lifts. Those are my favorite dynamic. What made you get, this is from WBR 189, what made you get into competing in the Highland Games and Olympic lifting? I did track and field through college at LSU here, and then and we've always done the cleans. I've never really gotten into Olympic lifting. So we always did cleans as part of our training, or snatches, and so those ended up working out pretty good. I've always liked them and been flexible enough to do them semi-properly, and so I've kind of just maintained with it and snuck into a meet every now and then. By no means do my Olympic lifts look good. I'm not an Olympic lifter. I dabble in it just about as I do everything else. And as far as the Highland Games, what got me into that was just loving. I love throwing, and so I really like being able to get out there and compete in a sport like that. And it doesn't hurt that it has a little bit more availability to me to do that and get to travel and compete than track and field would have, especially since I would have been really shitty post-collegiate. So, Tom Liscio asks, any general nutrition advice for strength gains? Depends on what you want to do. If you are fat and you want to lose some weight, I suggest a ketogenic style diet. And make sure you get enough calories. I mean, you're not going to be able to gain a lot of strength unless you're super, super fat and you're starting off trying to drop some weight. Like, not Biggest Loser fat, but you're too fat. You know that. That's why you're asking questions. If you're looking for nutrition, like you're a smaller guy and need to gain weight to keep gaining strength, just try to eat relatively whole foods and eat a lot of them. You've got to have more calories coming in than you're burning to gain weight. You don't want to eat good stuff and put the strength on, man. And focus on one goal at a time. If you want to get fucking strong, get strong. And then worry about maybe dropping some weight on the back end. Typically, getting lean and getting strong at the same time, I don't know anyone who's done it well. So, you usually end up just pretty much half-assing both. I guess what you meant by dynamic training, Danger Cart, was speed and force production. Same answer. Throwing sprints, throwing sprints, Olympic lifts, jumping, all those things are going to make me move my body at a speed. So that's what I stick with. Where are we at next? Eric Sullins. Eric, what are your thoughts on incorporating German volume training for throwers in the early off season? I think it's awesome. I cover a section in that in Strength Lab. Check it out. And I do it every year. I do 10 weeks of 10 by 10, or as long as I can stomach it without getting hurt. And that's what I do. How often a week should I do Olympic lifts? From I Watson Evan. I Watson Evan. I Watson Evans. Whatever your name is, bud. How often a week should you do Olympic lifts? I do them once a week. Usually toward the end of the week, toward when I'm starting to get back to getting ready to compete, getting ready to leave for travel. A little bit lighter weight allows me to focus on some speed and power production rather than moving heavy weight and building strength per se. I'm thinking more power, speed that I want to transfer into implements as I'm going to compete. That's usually when I do them. That way I'm a little bit fresher toward the end of the week as I'm going to try to throw far. Morgan 48. When are you going to make sure it's in 3X for your plus size model? 2 questions later, never mind, just checked your website. Answering your own questions. That's smart. Half Barrel Brew. Best shot, and discus if you did that too, throws when I competed. In high school I threw 59, 11 and 3/4 in the shot put. In discus not very far. I was kind of shitty, I threw like 130. And then in college I threw 178 and change in the discus, and I threw almost 58 feet, 57.10, something like that in the shot. I threw right at 60 meters in the hammer. So not very good at any of those things. So I was self-admittedly not as focused in college as I currently am on throwing far and competing. I had a tendency to be more interested in girls and partying and having a good time, and it's all worked out. I wasn't going to go to the Olympics either anyway. So Brett DW 110. I'm seriously considering buying a Tendo unit. What would you suggest? Price and quality considered. Not looking to spend big bucks, but not looking for one that doesn't do the job. I guess you mean Tendo type unit. Tendo unit is a brand. I have one of those, and seems to be pretty cool. They are expensive. However, I know Reese Hoffa has been using one, and I think Chris Steffen as well. It's a strap that goes around your arm and it goes to your phone as an app. I think it's only 150 bucks. It seems to give you some information. I mean, the thing not to get caught up on is really how accurate the information is per se, but as long as the information is consistent, then you can use it as a judgment tool to make progress on it. So as long as you're improving speed by whatever measurement it's giving you, keep rolling. Gorilla Iron. What are good auxiliary exercises for log toss event? I'm guessing that you mean the caber. Tossing the caber, good auxiliary exercises, snatch pulls, high pulls. Basically what you're going to do from here. It's really a big extension of the hips and then following all the way through overhead. What I recommend is, as an early guy trying to get into it, go to games and throw a lot of caber. Debroche 17. What is the single greatest piece of advice you've ever received, and who was the person that gave it to you? I don't know, man. There's been a lot of stuff over the years. A lot of little things that click in and out as different situations occur. It's really hard for me to put a finger on a single piece of advice. And I don't really know where they come from or any of that. My memory's not great. One of the things I always try to think about and that I try to remember is, I don't remember exactly where I got it, but trying to keep my head together because, at the end of the day, whether I'm going to be stressed or I'm going to have a lot of fun, or whether I'm going to throw far or I'm going to choke and compete like shit, whether I hit this squat or I miss this squat, whether I'm going to choose to be sad or be an asshole or eat bad food or make good food decisions, at the end of the, at the end of my life and the end of my time, none of those fucking differences matter. I'm still going to go in the ground. So, make sure you're doing what you're doing for now, and that it matters to you. That's one of the things I've always remembered and thought about is, make sure you're doing this for the reasons you want to be doing them. I mean, you don't owe anyone a fucking thing. And that's staying true to yourself, those things. I mean, I don't know if that answers your question, but that's probably one of the biggest life philosophies I try to really stick by that speaks the loudest is that. And I don't know how long I have, and I sure shit don't know how long my body's going to be able to put up with the abuse I want to give it. But I'm never going to think whenever that time comes that it gives up that I didn't do enough. That I didn't see what I could see, that I didn't travel as much as I could, I didn't meet as many awesome people as I could, and I didn't get to see as great of shit as I could have. I won't sit there and wonder what if. So, a lot of it resorts back to a little bit of that Mark Bell, fuck your elbow, live like a savage now. And that's not to say I'm just going to sit there and, not be responsible. You got to take it the right way. I mean, you shouldn't be all ant and you shouldn't be all grasshopper. Figure out whatever happy medium is going to work the best for you. Lift Life 87. What's your favorite bar position for squats? I run kind of a medium, just enough that with my shoulders back and everything pinched up, the bar is going to run across that shelf at the bottom of the trap and into the delt. I don't run it really, really low. I never really did for powerlifting, and I don't run it completely on top of the shoulders just due to hip mobility and not really being able to get to a great position at the bottom of my squat. That doesn't seem to work for me either. It's just enough reps. Figure out what works for you. Having to think low bar or high bar is a great starting thing for you to make some decisions off of, but figure out what works for your body type. Tosh NOV. Best way to keep quick and mobile while getting bigger and stronger. Keep doing explosive stuff. Keep doing your sprints. Keep doing your stretching while you're also doing all of those other things like all your strength work. Make sure that while you're gaining size and mass, you're still going to be doing all the things that keep you an athlete. Jeffrey Scott 1, other than harnessing hate, how do you control your demons that keep you from being who you are? That's it. That's what I use. I use that. That's my thing that I use. I use that and just not tolerating that bullshit from myself. I mean, one of the problems with being self-aware is that once you are, you can't just fucking blow it off. It's really hard for me to blow off and say like, wow, I'm just going to eat like shit this week when I know that I'm going to feel bad because of it, that I know the repercussions for doing the things I'm doing. So be aware of what you're doing and make those decisions. If you want to make fucking bad decisions, those are yours. But, own up to them. If you want to make a bunch of good decisions, man, those are yours too. Your successes are yours. Earn those. Be proud of them. CHP1, top 3 places, countries you want to visit next. I'd like to go to Norway. I'd like to go to Vietnam. And Australia would be pretty cool. Those are 3 places I'd like to see. I don't know if they'll be next, but those are 3 places I would like to go. Strongman Stan. What are/were your favorite events to do in Strongman? I like log press and the strong overhead presser, and I really like the Atlas stones. Those are my favorite, and those were 2 that are really particular to Strongman. I thought they were fun. I didn't like any of the events that took a minute to do, just because I'm lazy and they were hard.